Hello everybody, welcome back to Screen Stars. I'm here today to bring you another classic film review, and today's classic film is a 1991 thriller stroke horror, I guess you could call it, The Silence of the Lambs, a film that is based on the Thomas Harris novel. It's directed by Jonathan Demme and it stars Jodie Foster as Clarice Starling, Anthony Hopkins as Dr. Hannibal Lecter and Scott Glenn. Now, for those of you who don't know, I will talk a little bit about the plot, but I'm fairly sure most of you have seen this film, so I'm not particularly worried about spoilers or anything like that in a review like this. And this film focuses on Jodie Foster's character, Clarice Starling, who is a rookie in the FBI. She's still in training. And she is pulled from training by Scott Glenn's character, Jack Crawford, and sent to interview the infamous serial killer, Dr. Hannibal Lecter, Hannibal the Cannibal. But essentially there is an ulterior motive here, as there is a serial killer on the loose called Buffalo Bill, who skins his victims. He's killed 5 people, I believe, and they're wanting Dr. Hannibal Lecter's help in catching this killer. So essentially that's the end game here, to try and get Hannibal Lecter involved in the investigation to help them catch this killer. But what they don't expect really is that there is a real connection between Clarice Starling and Dr. Hannibal Lecter that progresses throughout this film alongside this investigation to try and track down the serial killer known as Buffalo Bill. Right, so that's the general storyline here that we're talking about with The Silence of the Lambs, and as I say, I am sure everybody watching this review for the most part has seen this film, and if you haven't, just go and see it really, you know. What else can I say? It's a bloody good film. Now, this film, I haven't seen this film for a while, and I've just picked up the box set, so I've got this, Hannibal and Red Dragon. A bit disappointed that they didn't put Manhunter in the box set, because that is a very, very relevant film as well. And after watching it again after a few years, just the other night with my wife, we're going to watch all 3 of them. She hasn't seen the other 2. It just blew me away how good this film is, because you forget sometimes, you know, what an absolute... And this word gets bandied about a lot, mainly by me. What is a masterpiece, this film? I think it's one of those lightning in a bottle moments where everything worked. Everything. I can't give you a fault for this film. The director, brilliant. He wasn't really a renowned director at the time. He'd done things like Married to the Mob and things like that, Jonathan Demme. And there was no real clue that he was going to nail it. Boy, did he nail it. The writing, obviously it's based on the novel, but the writing here is on point. The cinematography, the music, everything from a technical standpoint is top quality stuff. And then you've got the performances. All the actors here give pretty much performances of their career. And that's high praise, certainly for people like Anthony Hopkins and Jodie Foster. Now obviously they both famously got Oscars for these roles. Jodie Foster was coveted this role for quite some time. Apparently she really wanted to play Clarice Starling. The director wanted Michelle Pfeiffer, because he just worked with her, I think, on Married to the Mob. She turned it down. She thought it was too violent, and eventually he saw the light and cast Jodie Foster, thank goodness. Now, that's not to say that Michelle Pfeiffer might not have done a good job. She may well have done. But it's hard to imagine anybody playing this role, certainly in this film. And that's part of the reason why Hannibal wasn't as highly praised, obviously, because there was no Jodie Foster. And then Anthony Hopkins as Hannibal Lecter. Wow. Incredible. And also apparently Gene Hackman bought the rights to this movie some years previously, and he had every intention, he wanted to direct the film and also star in the film as either Hannibal Lecter or Jack Crawford, and he eventually passed on it because he thought the film was going to be too violent, and he'd just done Mississippi Burning, I believe it was, and he thought that film was very, very violent, and he didn't want to follow it up so closely with another really violent film, which seems a bit odd. So imagine that, we could have had Gene Hackman as Hannibal Lecter, which again, that would have been really interesting. I don't think he would have done a bad job either. As Brian Cox didn't in Manhunter, he was very good as Hannibal Lecter. Some say even better than Anthony Hopkins. I don't think so, but that's a debate for another time. So it's weird how these touches of fate mould a film like this. And like I say, there's many examples out there of lightning in a bottle with movies. You know, many examples, and this is certainly one of them. Everything works in this film. It's gripping, thought-provoking, intense, scary, and just damn entertaining. I mean, I caught myself watching this film, just sat silently, like this, like with my mouth open watching it, because I just couldn't get over how great it was and how great the set design was, and how creepy how creepy Anthony Hopkins was as Hannibal Lecter. You forget again how brilliant he was. Just from the first moment you see him, and just the way he stands, it looks awkward. And how creepy, and I don't think he gets enough credit here, Ted Levine as Buffalo Bill. How incredibly creepy his character is. Now, they obviously based his character as like a combination of Ed Gein and Ted Bundy, but they do it brilliantly. He's a great character as well, and I think it kind of doesn't get enough recognition. It's great because it's got such a fantastic strong female lead in the role. Very, very strong female lead, and it also shines a light on equality. In 1991, it shines a light on, you know, this woman trying to make it in the FBI, and you can see there's more than one scene in this film where it shines a light on that. So perfect film. It's a 10 out of 10. I can't give you a fault with this film. Even if I tried, if I pulled it apart thread by thread, I still don't think I'll be able to find a fault with it. So yeah, that is my review for The Silence of the Lambs. Modern classic, wonderful film. I am obviously going to rewatch the others and give them a review fairly soon on the channel as well. So thank you very much for watching, everybody, and of course I will see you back with more content on Screen Stars very, very soon.